IT analyst at IDFC Securities, is with us now. Shashi, good morning. So, of course, we start with TCS today and Infosys tomorrow. Do you get a sense that these stocks have now priced in the worst, or could we have one more round of derating post numbers? What's your overall call on both these two big stocks?
In terms of earning downgrade that we have seen over the last, I would say, 2 quarters, that was hardly 5 to 6%, largely led by downgrade in revenue and little bit correction on the margin terms. Whereas multiple derating has been good 10% around for the sector as a whole. Our sense is that things are bottoming out in terms of expectation, in terms of performance as well. If economic performance in the US stays where it is, things should start looking up for these companies. So this quarter we are anyway expecting very weak performance from TCS and Infosys both. For TCS we are expecting around 0.5% growth in dollar term. In case of Infosys we are expecting decline of revenue in CC term around 0.3%. So I don't expect that things can worsen from this level. The spend in BFSI sector, which most of the management is commenting about, is definitely seeing signs of improvement, which is one of the largest contributors.
Okay, so in that case, Shashi, actually, you said 0.5% for TCS dollar revenue. Our poll has thrown up 0.2% actually. Now, what is the one number that might enthuse you to buy the stock? And what is the one statement you will watch out from the TCS management? I'm only sticking to TCS because those are today's numbers.
Right. Yeah. So in case of TCS, anything better than 0.3 or 0.4, 0.5% in dollar term will definitely trigger a rally in the stock price. And if the outlook about the next year is strong, in terms of deal closure, what they have done in this quarter, and vertical specific, maybe telecom, BFSI, little bit on the retail side, which is matter of concern right now, given the way Macy's have guided for and given the outlook. So if these verticals give good outlook from the management, if we hear good stuff from the management on these verticals, definitely there should be some up move in this stock price. Because in terms of valuation, most of these companies are currently trading at 14, 15, 16 times. TCS is trading at what, 16 times my estimate of FY18. So it's not very pricey at this point.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye out on the management commentary from TCS. But on Infosys, after revising its guidance twice, do you fear that there could be one more downward revision of the 8 to 9% constant currency guidance this time?
If they deliver something like muted growth also, 0.3% decline in CC term, they may not need to downgrade their CC term guidance, but we are expecting that they may lower the upper end of their guidance. So from 8 to 9, they can lower that guidance to 8 and 8.5, and narrowing that range, bringing the upper end to mid-range. So that's a possibility, but that will still mean that they can deliver 0.5% kind of growth. If they didn't lower their guidance at all for CC term, that means that next quarter outlook is somewhat better, and there is a good possibility of that as well.
You think the two stocks are finely priced at this point in time?
Well, in terms of downside, I think most of the negatives are already in the price. We have seen revenue expectation coming down from lower double digit to almost mid-single digit in case of TCS, and 13-14% or mid-teens to almost high single digit for Infosys. We don't see any reason why there will be further downgrade in the expectation even for the next year from the current level. Yes, the one overhang about the legislation on the visa bill, that can keep that uncertainty in and around that stock price. But I think most of these things are there in the price, and people have started factoring in some of those.
Shashi, mid-cap IT has had a better, performance over the last few quarters. Cient, of course, stands out. It was the big standout performer last quarter. What are your top picks in the mid-cap IT basket?
Mid-cap, we like Emphasis and Mindtree. Emphasis, I think there is a good opportunity to be captured from the Blackstone portfolio. Management has already hired one sales guy who is going to hunt for business from the Blackstone investment portfolio. And as HP business is getting stabilized, our sense is that we will start seeing earning upgrade for Emphasis. In case of Mindtree, we have a neutral rating, but what I feel that the deal closure should be good, and earnings might be bottoming out in this quarter, and things should start improving from the next calendar year for this company.
Just one more question on TCS. You did mention that the on the margin performance, of course, this time around there will be cross-currency headwinds, revenue growth slowdown, etc. If they don't hold on to that margin guidance of 26 to 28% for FY17, do you think that would be a big concern, or is that something that's already been factored in?
It's already, although they have been guiding for 26 to 28, and that company has operating leverage to play around with the margin and can hold on the margin for another year, even though the growth remains in the mid-single digit. Still, I don't see much risk to their margin. But if they lower that guidance, margin guidance, say from 26 to 28 to 25 to 27, that will not swing the needle too much for the company. We are already factoring in more towards the lower end of the margin guidance.
Oh, right. So that's priced in, you think? And if Infosys were to bring down the upper level from, as you said, 8 to 9, if the upper guidance as well comes down, there is a blow coming for the stock?
No, I mean, look at the stock. These companies have, Infosys has, especially in the last 6 months, has underperformed broader Nifty by around 17–18%. So most of those things must be there in the price. There can be 2 to 3% movement on the either side. It's very difficult to predict, but our sense that whatever initiative which management has taken in case of Infosys, that will start fructifying in the next calendar year, some of those. And the deal win has been pretty healthy for Infosys over the last 2 quarters, even though the revenue growth was a little bit patchy. So some of those deals will start ramping up, and you will see that revenue trajectory reversing after this quarter's performance.
All right. Thanks a lot, Shashi, for joining us and giving us your expectations on Infi, TCS as well.